we've got it where I'm happy to say that, again, about almost 3 years ago, we started the organization. Right now, we started off with about 7 members. We are up to 259 as of today. Extremely happy about that. We actually have our newsletter going out there and reaching that number of people, and it grows each and every month. And we're getting emails to get our content. And so, yes, we know that not many people are able to make the meetings because of other conflicts, but do note people are getting our newsletters that go out each and every month. And I think we send it out on the first Tuesday of each month. And we have not missed a beat, and that stays consistent. I will say that I am always looking and would always love to get people's insight to things that we want to highlight within our newsletter. So please feel free to engage with us via the email to let us know. Again, John, if there's something in regards to AI and you're about to do a session on something, feel free to send that information over. We can't highlight what we don't know about. And that goes for everybody. And I wanted to say, again, I think, is it Jeremy? Again, welcome to the call. Glad to see you. We are celebrating, as of May 2nd, we celebrated 1,000 days of activity. And that right there, guys, is something else. We understand, and I had a conversation with Matt, along with a few other people, that talked about our overall premise, our overall mission, and that mission doesn't change. However, that mission was extremely highlighted with the murder of George Floyd. And so everybody under the sun wanted to do something, wanted to make a difference, and how could this happen? And a lot of individuals of color were saying, well, this has been happening each and every day. This has been happening for years. But now that it's on the news, again, let's sit back and let's see what we can do to make a difference. Understood. However, guess what? It's been quite a while since his murder. And so the spotlight is no longer as bright. People care, but they don't care as much because per se, it does not affect them as much. I'll go here as a organization. We want to sit back and further emphasize that the inequalities still exist. The systems still exist. What can we do? And if we sit back and if we don't continue to prep up and build organizations like this one here, those equalities will continue to exist for years and years to come. So each and every time we actually see the newsletter and respond and come to meetings, we're making a difference. We're letting people know that we care, and so thus they should care as well. So let's continue to be the example that we want to be. And always looking again for additional feedback within the newsletter. So again, we had our picture, and this picture was taken over at the PACE conference within a room that Rob Seaver had actually had set aside for us. So great time that we had there. We talked about members' accomplishment area. One of the things that we wanted to do for the website, and I hope everybody has had an opportunity to go to the website as of late, because we keep on making updates. But one of the things that we want to do is that we want to sit back and be your biggest cheerleader. When's the last time you sat back and you heard a story, maybe on the news, and sat back and said, I wanted to hire somebody of color, but I don't know where to find them. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know. Guess what? I would love to have it where, at Blacks in Performance Marketing, our website serves for one of those, as one of those resources to find out exactly people who are in our space. What are they accomplishing? What are they doing? And so right now, but guess what, John, if you're out there and you're speaking to XYZ people, let us know. Maybe that's something that we can highlight. Todd, let's say, I know you guys, Todd is always doing something, and he is so extremely, again, out there, but, and I'm not going to say shy, but just, yeah, this Sean, this is what I do every Tuesday. I would love to sit back and see what we could do to highlight you as well as the company. So on here, you'll notice that Danielle, she actually wrote a book just about, I think it was about a week or two ago. So we actually had her highlighted. We actually had it where, again, Mike Freer, he was actually, doing some different conferences where he was a speaker, but he also came up with a whole new directory, company in essence, which was great. And we have other speakers, again, across the board. So please let us know what you're up to so that we can highlight it, okay? And of course, and if sometimes people don't want to highlight themselves, but what you do is, but if you find out, and I know Matt is good with this, if you find other people who are doing something, feel free to act as their cheerleader and let us know what they are doing, just in case they don't want to, kind of blow their own horn and, say, hey, I'm doing this and doing that. Let others do it for you. Right? So you do it for somebody else. The next thing that I actually had here was the Career Center. We have a Career Center within the website that allows us to sit back and post new positions, internships, whatever they might be. Guys, that's a big deal. Right now, I'm happy to say that I think we were able to find 2 people jobs based off of our little, Career Center. But if we don't know about the positions, if we don't know that they exist, we can't sit back and we can't highlight them. So please allow us to be the platform to get that information out. Oh, I didn't bring this up. Oh, the next thing is that we actually have an official tablecloth that I wanted to be able to show. I'm not going to run and go get it, but we did get it. Mariano, do we actually have a picture of that? And I don't think I have it here. Gotcha. I appreciate it. But our tablecloth is set up. So that means that when we are going to these conferences, that we get, while we have a Jiffy screen and we have a booth, we now actually have a full out tablecloth as well. So we can sit back and continue to highlight what we're doing and how we're doing it and how we can encourage people to be a part thereof. So tablecloth, we're ready for it. And we are currently sending out emails to several different conferences so that they can actually know that we not only exist, but that our membership are looking to attend some of their conferences, and that will lead to potential discounts. So right now, there are several conferences that we receive discounts to. And so some of the ones that are up and coming, which is, again, I think there was this one that finished here. We have it where there's a PACE conference that, of course, that will be hosted right here in the DC area, close to where I am. And in fact, you know what? Rob, are you still with us? Rob Seaver, are you still here?
I am. I just need to turn on my microphone.
There you go. Rob, can you do me a favor? Can you just point out again a little bit about what's going to happen at this at the PACE Compliance Summit?
Sure. So for those of you who aren't familiar with PACE, it's the Professional Association for Customer Engagement. We have several organizations within the organization. So we're an association of associations. And each year, not only do we do our normal advocacy and lobbying and educational work throughout the year, but each year we hold 2 in-person events. Sean talked about the event last year in Nashville, and our upcoming event for ACX, which is our annual convention and expo, is October 10th through the 12th in Charlotte this year. And so those tickets are already on sale at paceacx.com. But the Washington Summit is a 2-day event that's focused on regulatory compliance in the lead generation and contact center space. And so if it hits us at any level, it definitely will be discussed there this year. We have just a rock star lineup of the Federal Trade Commission, the Federal Communication Commission, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, CTIA Group, the Ohio Attorney General's, the Ohio Attorney General actually will be there talking about privacy and some of the things that are going on in Ohio, which are important across the nation because he is also on the robocall task force. But in general, it's 2 days of what was our response to the FCC? What are we going to be doing as it moves forward? We do know that there's new activity at the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. So if you're in the space, whether you're in compliance or regulation or you have someone in your organization, there should be some effort to get there. It is important for every business that touches this space, regardless of vertical. You can go to PACE, it's pacesummitdc.com.
And Rob, this is something I want to make sure that we kind of emphasize for everybody here that's listening, is that this conference, when you talk about compliance, you're talking about the fact of decisions that are being made in this particular room will no doubt affect everybody within this space. And so the fact is, again, and I have the honor of being joining, I guess, quite a few people, one being Matt, to be a part of the Consumer Consent Council board now. So I'm so thankful for that appointment. And I realized the other day that it gives me an opportunity to be in the room where it happens. I'm not sure if anybody saw Hamilton, the play, but being in the room where it happens is extremely important, opposed to having people just in essence dictate this is what's going to happen without the feedback of the voices that it affects and the voices that are in essence a lot of times unheard. This gives us an opportunity. So please, guys, again, do note that, again, not campaigns, but conferences like this are extremely important, and making sure that we understand what's the feedback. So let's say once the conference is over, what's the feedback of that conference? What occurred? What is changing? So that we don't sit back and miss out and think, okay, fine, wow, you know what? We didn't have this opportunity to do X, we didn't have this opportunity to do Y. When in actuality, we did, but we just chose not to rather attend or chose not to get the feedback thereof. So our goal here is that, again, as an actual organization, our goal here is to provide feedback. So we'll be doing that, and we'll post some things on our website and continue to work with PACE to make sure that everybody's informed to see exactly how it works. Because ultimately, if you don't know, and John alluded to this even in the beginning, if you don't know how the technology works, if you don't know the new policies and regulations, and you sit back and think that you're going to do the same thing that you've been doing for years on end without any recourse, then you know what? That's not going to happen. So let's make sure that we are, again, that we're kind of showing our face and now going out there and supporting.
You don't know what you don't know.
Without question. So on the website, we listed, again, a couple of more conferences as well that are up and coming. And you'll notice that, again, as we start getting more discounts, we'll start sitting back and we'll post those discounts there. So there is in essence, an increased value proposition behind the fact of being a member of Blacks in Performance Marketing. So we see some of the discounts there. Yes.
Sean, one other thing, and I think if Todd Nelson is on the line still, Veris is having a conference coming up September 18th and 19th as well that we should promote. So I'll send over the details to you.
Yeah, Matt, you're spot on. The our VIA summit in Chicago, and so we have that. We'll be promoting it, and I'll make sure I keep everybody up to date on that. And Matt obviously has some of the information, but you'll start to see more about that in the coming days and weeks here.
See, what did I say? I said that Todd always has something going on, but yet there you go. In fact, Todd, is there any particular things that you would want to share in regards to the conference? Again, why would people want to, what happens at that conference? How long has the conference been going on? Anything you want to share in that regard?
Yeah, just quickly. I mean, part of the impetus behind the conference is just to create a space for networking. There's a lot of content that is not Verisk or even marketing solutions content. It's more about industry information and alignment, and not only with customers, but also with partners like folks on this line. So we're putting together the agenda, and we got a great speaking panel. We have some great sessions lined up that I think from a networking perspective, there'll be great opportunities for folks to connect across the aisle and hopefully meet folks that maybe they haven't partnered with in the past. So more to come there. This will be our which is our third year, I guess our third time doing it.
And Todd, where is it located again?
It's going to be in Chicago this year.
One of my favorite to attend each year. It's a great
There we
one.
go. So we have a great lineup plan. So yeah, it'll be great.
And Sean, I just sent you an email with the details. So if we can forward that along. And
Todd, if there's any kind of Blacks in Performance Marketing discount that you want to send over to me, feel free to, not to put you on the spot, but to put you on the spot. Feel free to let me know. Thank you.
Sounds good.
So guys, this is one thing that I'm extremely excited. So I hope everybody can look at their monitors and see. But what we did was we actually created a member certificate. And what this is this gives us an opportunity where we're able to highlight, that all of our members. Right now, I started the conversation off by stating that right now we are in essence going into 3 years away from the George Floyd murder. And that was the highlight and the incubus of a lot of movements where people sat back and was just disgusted behind it. And diversity became, again, we've got to make changes. Well, that was a splash per se. We need to continue to make sure that we highlight the importance thereof. So what we came up with an idea is that we would actually have it where every certified member of our group would actually get a certificate. And this is just talking about the fact that we are proud members thereof. Again, signed with your name, your member number, and we actually have our, some of our sponsors towards the bottom of the form as well. So again, but something that would cement the fact that you are a member. And again, we're doing good work. And our goal here is to continue to encourage, everybody who is with us, as well as make a difference. Does anybody have any questions about that? I'll assume nope. So with that in mind, again, and if you have any, questions or, feel free to, email me over. If you're doing anything in the chat, I cannot see it because I've got too many screens open. But kind of go from there. So we're happy about it. Again, the goal here is to create somewhat of a splash, because if you don't, people forget that what you're doing and how you're doing it. The next thing we actually have was topic discussions suggestions. Is that this past year, what we did was we focused heavily on getting guest speakers to come out to tell us their story, their success, their overall journey, and how they got to become who they were and things of that nature. For this coming year, starting in September, one thing that I would like to do is have it where not only will we continue with some speakers, but we're going to start interjecting roundtable discussions. We've had some discussions amongst us as a group, but I like to have it where we talk about topics of the day, where we're not going to become this podcast, but what if there were, 3 topics that were, about individuals of color that were making the news right now? And how do we feel about it as individuals? How is it affecting us in our personal as well as professional lives? You know what? Where did you find yourself? Is it hard for you to walk into a room of individuals who did not look like you because of X? Did you not feel comfortable with Y? Was your company currently saying that they were going to be, adding into diversity, but yet you are still the only individual of color at your organization? What are the topics that we want to discuss that are affecting you? It's one thing for us to bring in speakers that can tell you their story so that that if things are not impossible, that things can happen and things are happening. So that's encouraging in itself. However, I think that if you sat back and had an opportunity to discuss topics that were concerning to you, whatever it might be, and if you don't want me to state that you are the person who created the topic, not a problem. I'll take one for the team. And guess what? Let's sit back and let's talk through it. Let's have it where we're not just listening to Sean, but we are listening to each other and get everybody raise their hands and we talk about what is concerning you. And so I love to engage that within some of our meetings for this next fiscal year for us. So that's up and coming. Anybody have any questions about that? You like the idea, you hate the idea, and if so, why? Nope.
No, I think it's a
Everybody
great.
like-
I think it's a no. I think it's a great idea. I mean, I think we kind of started today's meeting with just a general topic of conversation that I think is in the forefront of everyone's mind about ChatGPT, how the technology changes the landscape of what we're doing, and really how it may affect us individually. So. I think definitely, opening it up to conversations like this are very important.
Excellent. And again, that's why when we started talking about it, I was like, oh my God, I felt like John read my notes. Like again, he put some AI onto my computer, so he knew exactly what I wanted to kind of talk about, and thus he beat me to the punch. Understood, John. I got you. I got you.
It's one of those tracking softwares that Tills were probably using to take notes with that had a spyware attached to it or something.
There you go. In fact, you know what? And the perfect example is Chad, who's not with us yet right now because I think he's on another call, but yet his otter is here. I got to talk to him about it.
I'm here. I and my otter are here.
So, oh, look at you.
Yeah.
Chad in his otter box. Yeah.
Sometimes
it's like
I
Otter and Jasper.
I send my AI out there to front run. My AI called me and said, hey, they're having a really good conversation. You probably need to jump in here. So I was like, thank you, Otter AI. I'm calling in now. How's everybody doing?
Love it. Hey, Chad, how are you? Okay,
good. I'm in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. My niece graduated from high school, an all-black high school right next to an HBCU. And I tell you this, man, to see the pride in those professors and those teachers, 160 graduates, every single one that walked across the class. I mean, when I say, like, you know how they just shake your hand perfunctorily, like, congratulations, like counselors and teachers and principals were coming around from around behind the stand to hug the kids and stuff. So you saw the connection. They had $7.5 million in scholarships across some of the different recipients. And I don't know, it just did my heart well. You know, we have a business that's working with HBCUs, and sometimes all we ever hear about from the impacted schools, the all Black schools, is how poorly they're doing and all that. So yeah, don't get me started, but it was really, really, really cool to see, man, that when we put our minds to something, the impact that we can create in our community.
Love it. And guys, this goes into some of the topics that potentially we can discuss for next year. So I'm going to need your help. So Chad, thank you for joining. It's good to know that it's not just your AI, and congratulations to your niece. Guys, if everybody can look at my screen, because I'm going to need your help. I got fought. My team fought me about this. And Indala was one of the people who was like, Sean, shorten your survey. And I'm like, but I need help. So with that in mind, I'm going to ask for everybody's attention. If you look at the screen, this here talks about the actual survey that we actually are sending out. I don't know if we sent it out via email yet, but if not, it's going to be in your inbox within the next few minutes. With that in mind, just wanted to walk you through just a few things here and there, because while it is extensive as far as asking questions, it's, you know what, you can pick and choose the questions that you want to answer to, but we definitely need some feedback from you. So again, everything from, you know, how you found out to how long you've been in the industry to, again, what sector of the industry that you're a part of. Again, are you an advertiser, publisher? And then of course, maybe the title or contributor towards in your company. But then it goes into some open-ended questions, talking about this fact is, you know, Sparkles, things that need to be featured or sections that you would like to see on the website. You know, again, any particular things about, you know, diversity. I actually had a member email me a few weeks ago and said, Sean, do you actually have any particular courses that are free that I can share with my company, because the diversity of my company is horrible? She goes, Sean, I am tired of being the only one. And they sat back and said that they were going to do XYZ, but I need to help them. So we sat back and we spent some time finding some online courses and seminars that he could actually share with his company. This is why we exist. This is to help people do that. So right now, is there any resources that you guys have been made aware? Maybe you went to a seminar or a session that sat back and said, oh, this would be great. Share it with us, please. Put it into the survey. What topics or themes that you would like to, you know, like us to talk about for next year? How are you engaged with us as far as communication? Are you able to see, you know, the things that we're doing with direct mail or things that we're doing via email? Check off some boxes, let us know. How, you know what, as much as I love Thursdays, you know, second Thursdays of each month at noon, guess what? Maybe if, you know, maybe people would want to change that date. We've been doing it for almost 3 years now. Give us some suggestions there. How many meetings were you able to attend? Again, let us know. Which meetings as far as speakers did you enjoy the most? And you can check off all of them if you want to, or check off one or two. that'll give us some direction in regards to what kind of speakers you're looking to have. And then some, why were they impactful? Just say, you know what, they were great, or whatever the case is, give us some feedback. Again, and so I won't go through all of these because it is extensive, but I am going to ask everybody to put in, give us 15 minutes of your time so that we can be the better organization moving for you and for everybody across the board. And then, of course, you'll sit back and, again, would you sit back and recommend us? The answer is yes or no. And if you wouldn't recommend us, you know what? We want to know why. And then from that point on, submit. So there's 22 quick questions. Feel free to go through them and give us feedback. Make us better. Us, for our future members, as we hope to have it where by September, I'm hoping that we will be having 300 plus members, if not more. And again, we're going to be working with PACE to sit back and see what we can do to get our message out there. Rob has agreed to make sure that the PACE newsletter that goes out to, I think, about 12,000 members is going to actually have a section on it called The Face of PACE, where we will actually include things about Blacks in Performance Marketing. And with that in mind, I'm hoping that many people will actually discover us, find out, and participate within the group as well. So that is the survey that's going to be sent over to you if it hasn't been already done. Does anybody have any questions or concerns about it? And again, feel free to tell me, Sean, oh my God, it's so long. I don't know what the heck is happening. It's going to take me about, guess what? You got about a month, but I would suggest that you fill it out as quickly as possible. And our goal here is to sit back and go through the actual, the results. You'll see on your screen, we are using, again, traditional software. We'll be able to sit back and see and weigh all of the results of the survey. And was it, how did you hear about us? Was it via, word of mouth or the newsletter? And so the good thing is that because of how we sent it out, each and every one of these is personalized. So we know exactly who sent it, but we won't advertise who that is. Arbel?
Yes, sir. So and you said the goal of the survey is to see how the organization can be better. Is that what you're saying?
It is. So right now, again, we make it where we don't have a lot of board meetings for the actual overall organization. So sometimes we're making decisions in a bubble. So right now with this survey, it allows us to know what topics do you want to hear? What kind of speakers do you want to hear from? What subject matters you want to discuss? What is going right or going wrong with the website? Right now, we have a lot more exposure. You might sit back and say, you know what, I want to see more discounts at conferences. I want there to be many more gatherings at conferences so that we can have more lunches and dinners and we can have fellowship. Feedback. Opposed to us, opposed just a few of us sitting back and saying, I think this is what the group wants, and going from there. Anybody have any questions or concerns in regards to it? Hey, Myrna, how are you?
Hey.
See, I just had to shout you out. I'm sitting back kind of
Thank
going through my
you.
list. And guys, you know what, Myrna, I'm going to put you on the spot because I know you're used to me doing this. Myrna is actually the new head of Women of MarTech. And again, and I know that you are revamping the overall organization, but if you wanted the mic, feel free to take it so that we can further promote you guys as a sister organization. But is there any highlights that you wanted to make that?
Yeah, no, I'd love to, I guess, highlight a few things just in terms of, yes, I'm in the process now of revamping. We are rebranding and in the process of curating some video content. So it's been a good process so far. Long story short about Women of MarTech though, I'm even twisting a little bit of the vision of it because again, a lot of people assume that it's all about women in the MarTech spaces, but I think it needs to be broader than that. So we're actually expanding it to be something where it's also a great community for women who are in the technology spaces as well. So it's marketing and technology, not just MarTech specific. So that's one of the things we're changing. So it's exciting, little baby steps, but I'm excited to kind of take it on.
Excellent. Well, best of luck, and whatever we can do to, again, assist, let us know. One of the things that I know that we did this past year was for National Women's Month. We kind of gave the mic over, and a bunch of us guys, you know, sat back and were quiet and learned from quite a few different sisters in regards to what they were doing. And that was great. And so we're hoping that we can continue that kind of relationship where for the month of March, for example, we kind of sit back and listen and hear what's going on from a female point of view by far. So looking
100%.
forward to future collaboration.
Yeah, I
Thank
think
you.
that was the panel that I moderated, which was amazing. So yeah, that was a great
There you go.
conversation.
Exactly. And so guys, the last thing that I have actually on our agenda for today is just to make sure that everybody knows that for our next meeting, which is the month of June, will be our last meeting before we take a summer break. Again, we're off for the meetings for July and August. However, we will be sending out still the newsletter to stay in touch with everybody. And our goal here is to make sure that we come back in September even stronger. We did this last year, and we'll do it probably each and every year. So we're hoping everybody has an incredible summer. But our goal here is that survey. The survey is probably the most important thing that you can do for the organization, which is to give us feedback across the board, so we can spend the months of May and June and July ramping up, so that when we come back, we are even a better organization. And we're going to, you know, again, it's nice to have celebrated our 1,000 days of activity. We're looking forward to 2,000 and 3,000 and continuing, again, celebrating things like that. So again, and we're putting together budgets so that we can sit back and we can be of a benefit. We're talking about scholarships. We're talking about different things that we can do as an organization. So give us some feedback and help us become better. And before we part, anybody have any, I'm gonna open the floor to anybody who has any kind of comments or suggestions for us. Feel free to just start speaking.
Yeah, no, Sean, the only other thing I would call out is, I just want to reinforce what you stated earlier about the need to identify what, we want in terms of content for meetings going forward. And so if anyone has any connections with anyone at all around the area of, anything of interest within our group or anything DEI related, please share that with the group. As I know we all know a lot of people, and we want to continue to amplify the voices of those that can help, provide information within this group. So please let us know of anyone that you may know that we might be able to bring on these calls going forward.
Excellent. Critical, because right now between myself and Matt, trying to think of different ideas have been something else. And luckily, I know we've had so many people here on the call step in to make sure we discuss things, but we know that there are issues that as a culture, as a people that we have, and things that we are, that need to be addressed. Why not have it where we spend that time addressing it now here? And before we depart, I see that Mariana was nice enough to sit back and send out the actual tablecloth that we have. It's in the chat so that everybody could see it. And so we have that tablecloth, and it is working out well. So that's been something that we'll be using at conferences. And I think, Rob, you still have the Jiffy screen. So
Correct.
What we'll do is for the next, for whatever that next conference is, we'll kind of, we'll figure that out in regards to where it needs to go. And I see Todd also shared information in regards to his conference within the chat. So if you have that, please go and click on that before it goes away, so that we can sit back and join. And I'll let you guys know as far goes, any special permission that we have from as a member. So anybody have any other comments before we let everybody go? We are at 12:48. and I'll give you a couple of minutes back. But before doing so, any hand raises, any suggestions? Yep, Jeremy.
Hey, I just actually wanted to introduce myself real quick. My name is Jeremy McMillan. I'm a performance marketing manager for a software company called 𝗀𝗲𝘁. I was fortunate enough to connect with Matt and 𝗂𝗲𝗱𝗶 at the LeadsCon Summit a couple of months ago, and they extended an invitation for me to join this group. And I'm based in Houston, Texas, so always great to meet with anybody in person for anybody who's based in Texas. But look forward to being involved in this group and meetings, and hopefully meeting some of you in person at future conferences.
Excellent. Well, pleasure to meet you, Jeremy. Thank you so much. It's so funny. It's like I reached out to you via side chat, and I should have brought it right to the forefront. So I like it. Thank you so much for speaking out and not being shy. We love that. John?
Yeah, I was thinking, I love the brand for the logo, for the Blacks in Performance Marketing logo. I'm suggesting maybe we can make some lapel pins. It'd be a beautiful little lapel pin, I think. Nice little touch.
Ooh.
So maybe I could donate that to the group. I'll work on, if you guys think that's a good idea. The lapel pins, I think, would be a nice classy touch.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Make everybody envious. Everybody's gonna want one of those. See, that's what we need. Mariano, please, let's chalk that down. Let's do it. John, I'll circle back to you on ideas, and then we can sit back and give other suggestions. Guys, this is what we need. Again, it is, it's you'll see in our newsletter, we try to address it based off of the intro in regards to we have to make sure that we continue to make awareness of it. If not, everybody who is not affected by things that we're affected by will think that everything's fine, that everything, the equality is completely there and everything is fine. Why do we need an organization like Blacks in Performance Marketing? What's the purpose of it? It doesn't affect me. Everybody that I see looks fine. They're smiling. But inside, guess what? They realize that they've got to work that much harder to be considered, in essence, equal, and that's not fair. Matt?
I'm going to put 𝗂𝗱𝗶 on the spot here for a second, just because I had an idea that came up. From our original conversation today, which is about, ChatGPT, AI, and a deeper understanding, part of the mission of the organization is to actually educate. 𝗂𝗱𝗶, would you be willing to do a session on AI and, how, ChatGPT is kind of coming into the forefront in today's world, and your knowledge and experience and information that you can share with the rest of the group?
Gotcha. Yeah, no, thank you for that. Definitely. That is one of my initiatives for the year, is to do a lot of speaking and educating, because there's positives and negatives, and surprisingly, most people really don't understand. There is an extreme gap between people's understanding of not just what it is and what it can do, but the rate of change, and how, as big as the internet, like the internet, you could say changed the world, but it took 5, 10, 20 years to really see the implications. What's happening now with AI is going to be just as big, but the speed, because it's AI and it's automation, it's going to happen extremely fast. And anyway, so in the short term, there's a lot that we can do to prepare, but in the long term, I think it's wise to also know what's going to happen. And when I say long, I'm saying 5 years. Short term is like 1 year, 2 years. And even when it comes to diversity, which I hadn't thought, but I've seen that it can level the playing field, because knowledge is going to be, it's going to be free. Knowledge is going to be, what's the word? Ubiquitous.
Accessible, right.
Ubiquitous. Everybody can get it and it'll be free. So how do you stand out? What does that mean? In the short term, anybody who doesn't have access or knowledge will have access immediately. That's a short-term play that, we need to take advantage of. Long term, there's implications that we can't even imagine. But anyway, yes, Matt.
All right.
So
Thanks.
this is Myrna. I'm piggybacking off of that, and I'm all kinds of excited because you're speaking my love language right now. I wanted to also add to this conversation, 𝗂𝗏, that it would be great if you even highlighted how it's actually going to impact us as, you know, not being the majority, because AI is basically collecting a lot of algorithm data. And I just would love to know your take on how that's going to play a role in, you know, our world with that. So
Yeah,
I'd love to
sure,
deep dive
definitely.
on that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, thanks, Matt. Yeah, definitely. I'd love to share that.
Yeah.
For the group and any other group that you know of, if you got another group that can be, you know, if you hear anything, that's definitely a big focus. Like I'm doubling down in that that focus. So yeah, thanks.
Yeah,
So,
same
so
here.
you know what? So I know that Matt put you on the spot and you handled it well. And Myrna doubled down on that as well. But what I'm thinking is that perhaps for a portion of our June meeting, if you, again, because I'm going to triple down on it, I would love to have it where there is, you know, maybe there's 1 or 2 questions that you ask and answer in regards to how AI is going to affect individuals of color, especially based off economics, because we know that a lot of individuals who are living in, you know, again, living in certain areas don't have the same kind of bandwidth or technology or Wi-Fi. And what is that going to do? And so, yes, you know what, maybe for most, it'll happen they'll catch up within 5. Well, guess what? Individuals of color, maybe it'll take them 7, or maybe they'll miss out. I'm not sure. But again, if there's certain highlights that you want to, you know, bring up to us, I think that would be something that would be great. And this goes back to, you know, having discussions that talk about topics, not necessarily all about individual accomplishments, which is great, but more topics that are affecting the world. And then, of course, if individuals of color in their workplace and in their private places as well. So, you know, we can have we'll have a conversation about it and see what we can do there as well. So anybody else need to be put on the spot? Come on now.
I was going to say that discussion or that topic, I think there should definitely be space for, you know, with 𝗂𝗏 being such an expert in the area, for him to give his presentation, which potentially could be pretty extensive for us, but then there also needs to be a space for discussion. And so, and not just like 10 minutes, but I think it may need to be like a 2-part series. I don't know, but something that's like, you know, if this is, I mean, we started the conversation today talking about it and we were only like 7 minutes in, but I could tell that we could have literally kept going had you not said, all right, guys, let's get started. Right. So.
Which I think we all want to be authors.
Yeah,
I'm sorry about that, John.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We all want to be authors, and 𝗂𝗏 has already published books written predominantly with AI. And so maybe he can share how to write a book via AI. He's already done it.
Yeah. John?
Yeah, I was going to kind of add to what Mandala was saying. I think that, you know, that open discussion, right? So having a structure around what 𝗂𝗏 is doing right now, he's our resident expert, which I think would be great, you know, but having that breakaway discussion and topic conversation, I think is important. As Mandala says, you know, it may be a 2 or 3-part series, but I think it's something we should really focus on because it will dramatically, it's going to, this is inevitable. It's out in front of us. Us as professionals in our space, we have different tools now. We have different, you know, challenges of articulating tool choices, you know, design specs, you know, and our own, you know, being an indispensable professionals to our spaces is directly affected by the use of these tools or the understanding of these tools and the implications of them. So I'm doubling down on what Mandala says about maybe we create a series around that and just have that topic of conversation so we have better eyes on it.
Wow, I am so glad we have a survey that got put out, because you guys are going to put all this stuff in the survey so I don't have to take notes right now. This is awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
We were just trying to be lazy, huh, and dollar.
Yeah.
Contributions.
Exactly.
Run with it.
No
Hey,
one
Sean, we still
We'll go
we still have Chad's Otter going.
Yeah.
So quick, few things before we go. I will say for surveys, but going forward, if you're it would be good if you want to like always have a dynamic survey in Zoom. If you really want feedback, besides the big bulk once a year or twice a year, you may want to have little pop-ups at every call of like 5 questions, whereas we're talking, number one. Number two, the calls, I would love just one little, which I'd love to have an open, say 30 minutes before the call, an informal, because the thing I always love is the chop it up. I always love this, but I just a little side note, the hour long is good. Again, I had a meeting earlier, but just consider 30 minutes in advance. Anybody who wants to jump on, at least 30, jump on, and we can chop it up every single time we meet. But I think that, and then you got your formal session and your agenda and your guest speakers. But that early 30 minutes would be the thing I always get more excited about this kind of stuff. So those are just 2 quick comments for the future.
This survey is going to be awesome. All the feedback that I'm loving it. I'm loving this feed. Arbel, don't take yourself off camera. Arbel, come back. So guys,
I got to go, guys. Thank you very much.
Without question. Thanks, Rob. In fact, everybody, it is almost 1 o'clock. I'm going to let everybody go, but this was awesome. Love the suggestions. Give me feedback so that we can be better, bigger, better. And this was awesome. So thank you, everybody, for contributing. Please, you're going to get your certification. Feel free to post it regular or post it, or add it to your LinkedIn. Again, let's create the wave. If you don't create a splash, people will think that everything is fine. Let them ask the questions and let them ask about Blacks in Performance Marketing without you having to throw it down their throat. Post about it. Put it on your LinkedIn. And Jeremy, let's make sure that we have, I think you became a member. Did you sign up already? If not,
Sorry, I did.
please.
Yes.
Okay. If not, please do. And we'll make sure that we get you a certification out there as well. Okay.
Okay.
Everybody else, again, look forward to seeing you guys, and feel free to hit me up any given time.